second problem, and nationally determined is saying like we're going to reduce CO2 levels by emissions by this amount. That's called a nationally determined contribution. And there's two problems. A lot of the nationally determined contributions are way too low. The cuts that are being promised by countries are way too low. And we know they're way too low because we can say, okay, well, they're committing to cut it by, 10% or something like that by 2050. Well, we can track, we can go ahead and model out what the CO2 levels will be. And we can say, no, that's going to take us to 3 degrees of warming. I think we're currently on track for. Yeah, so that's actually a pretty easy to find problem. The second one, of course, is countries not meeting their nationally determined contributions. So it's like we have a problem where promises are being made that are too weak, and then they're not getting kept. It's a double compound problem.
And there's no global climate enforcement agency that is traveling around making sure that people uphold the words that they say.
Well, this is the problem of all international policy, is that it's all done on handshakes and yep, absolutely we'll commit but there's no global peace. There's no global police, to police it. Which is why I get really interested in things like carbon adjustment tariffs and things like that, where countries that are reducing their CO2, well, products made from those countries, they will be tariffed. Essentially, they will have to pay fees for that. And the idea is to make it commercially untenable to continue emissions. And I think that's a really interesting strategy. Um, One thing I'm very against is kind of the continuation of our carbon markets. They were a great idea maybe 20 or 30 years ago when it was like, okay, we're gonna reduce CO2 emissions by buying reductions elsewhere. But here's the problem: we need to get to zero. Like the industrialized world needs to get to zero. The developing world needs to get to zero. And we need to do it fast. There's this whole ratcheting up scheme where, over time there'll be less and less credits available. Like that's just it's not feasible.